And I got to the wall, and I was like, Sandeno, Kaitlin, USA, 4th. And I was crushed.
Champions are made and cash always follows. But where did it all start? These are the true stories of the blockbuster sports deals that went down in the locker room, boardroom, and between the lines that made many people very, very wealthy. This is The Playbook. Hi, this is Dave Meltzer, CEO of Sports One Marketing. On Entrepreneur's Playbook, I'm here with my dear friend, the gorgeous Kaitlin Sandeno. Well, you are one of my favorite people, so put you on the Playbook primary list, and I'm sure we'll have you back if you want.
Definitely.
But I want to educate everyone kind of on, number one, kind of your background, right? You are an Olympian, but then understand as an entrepreneur, what traits it took. An Olympian to me is an entrepreneur.
Sure.
Right? There's an innovator, a person that can make their dreams become real, but then there's like this other person that can monetize that innovation. So for me, the Hall of Fame, an Olympic athlete, it's like the dream beyond the dream. Right? So many kids around here this time of year is like, oh, I got a scholarship to USC, which I'm sure was one of your goals growing up in Orange County.
Definitely.
But it's a whole nother realm when you get to USC to be one of the best in the NCAA.
Definitely.
And a whole nother realm to be the best in the world.
Right.
And so I want to explore that with you. So why don't you just first give a little bit of background on where that passion or desire came from? Because obviously that's one thing you need to be a gold medal or even a medalist in the Olympics is desire. Where'd that come from?
I was born and raised right here in Southern California, Orange County, Lake Forest, and I think a lot of it came from, I am the youngest of 3, but we have a pretty large age gap. My oldest sister is 14 years older than me, and my middle sister is 11 years older than me.
Nice. So they called you Baby Oops?
Yeah, I'm like the oops, but like a good oops.
I have a good oops. I call him the best mistake of my life.
Nice.
He's 7 right now.
Everybody needs one, right?
Exactly. Hopefully he'll be as successful and gorgeous as you. He's off to a good start. Off to a good start.
And I think I was being dragged to their swim meet. So I went to my first swim meet when I was 2 weeks old because my sisters were competing. So being around that environment immediately, it was kind of just like what I grew up, what I knew, and being, towed to each event after another. But honestly, I was a huge water baby, and I don't think that's something you can necessarily teach. Like, I legitimately love the water. From the bathtub, like my parents couldn't even get me out of the bathtub. I was trying to do laps like in the bathtub. And then as soon as I was walking, I was going off the diving board and into the deep end with no fear and jumping off the board and popping up and swimming over to my dad, and it just a huge love for the water. But then I was a huge tomboy and a huge kind of jock growing up. I did every sport that you can imagine. I was actually probably equally as good in soccer as I was at swimming, and that's what the 2 sports I kind of narrowed it down to in the end, and it was splitting my time between soccer and swimming up until 8th grade.
Did it suck in elementary school when like the little boy who had a crush on you? So here's the best looking girl at the school who then beats the crap out of you at your favorite sport.
Right.
That kind of sucks.
After I dust him in the mile. It was,
I used to hate that because I was that guy. I was like, oh God, I have such a crush. No, meanwhile, I was like 4 feet nothing. So you would have been like a foot taller than me.
Oh, man.
And I've been in love with you. And then I was like, try to prove myself. Okay, let's race. That'd be the end of our relationship right there.
Definitely was the girl that had all the guy friends. A lot of guy friends, was playing football with them and whatnot. But yeah, huge just like jock. But I was still had like a girly girl side. Like I was the girl that was like knocking girls down on the soccer field, but had that huge obnoxious like bow in my hair, you know. And then it came to the point in 8th grade, it's kind of like you have to pick a sport. My soccer team, it was like, hey, we need you full time. My swim team's like, hey, you should really pick a sport. And it was a hard decision, but I knew ultimately that I probably had more of a chance or a talent in swimming, and I really enjoyed how it was an individual sport. Soccer goes through a lot of people before it gets into the goal, and with swimming, it's all on you that day, that time. And talking about the desire and the hard work, like I knew all of my hard work would pay off. Not to say, you're on a team and somebody's going to slack and that's going to show, but it does, I wasn't relying on anybody.
I played football and baseball, but most people don't know I pole vaulted in college as well. It was just almost a hobby because I was sitting on the bench on the baseball team and all my friends were pole vaulting and I was like this little gymnast kid and I was good at it.
Right.
But the one thing I liked about it, and I compared it to business, was there was no, I took it as there was no competition except for me.
Right.
Right. So like with pole vaulting, it was like I did my best. I cleared 16 feet and I get it. Like some guy cleared 18 at UCLA. But for me, that was a personal best.
Exactly.
And I love that, because I was small, I hated the fact when I played on teams that, number one, I always was at a disadvantage to make the team, to start on the team. And then I had to rely on the pitcher
Right.
doing well.
Exactly.
Right. Or, other players.
Exactly.
And when I was pole vaulting, I just loved the fact it was just me.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't that I didn't love playing on teams and have
Sure.
all these friends.
Right.
Was that what made the decision so hard? Because obviously you must have been a really good swimmer and already placing in meets and
Right.
winning awards.
Yeah.
But were you afraid that you'd miss the camaraderie side of it?
And there are coaches or swim teams that be like, oh, it's a team sport, and I really disagree with that. I mean, I did go to USC and I did feel a part of a team, and you are on relays, but that individual aspect, and it's based off times. It's very black and white. You
Right.
know, it's not a gymnast. You're like, no, that was a 10. It's like,
Right.
no, this was a time. That's what
Or
it
worse,
says.
cheerleading. My girls cheer. I'm like, how did you win that? I have no idea what just happened.
Yeah, there's no judgment in it. And I really enjoyed that too. And, part of it was your head's down and you're following a black line. I mean, it takes a unique person that's okay with that too. And, I would be lying if I said, oh, I loved swimming. It's like I loved aspects of swimming. I loved to race, but training was hard. There's definitely many more times than not that I'm like, I do not want to go today, but then it's like, that mindset, and it's like, what's pushing you? What's your goal? How did you get there? And, I really believe that I had a talent and I couldn't waste that talent. And for me, it was kind of like my meal ticket. Like I knew in high school, if I wanted to go to an amazing university, if I wanted to have, a college experience, I needed to earn that just because I knew my parents' financial situation.
I hear you, girl. I was right there.
Yeah.
6 kids. I was
Totally.
going nowhere.
Exactly.
Nowhere.
And so it's like, I didn't want to put that on my parents. I didn't want my parents to stress about that. And what a waste if I did have this talent and I didn't execute it. And then here I am, probably going to a JC for 2 years and trying to transfer and probably still paying off student loans today. So
Right.
in high school, my mindset was, I really want to be able to swim in college. I want to go to college. And if I can get as much of that paid for as possible, great. And then, one thing led to another. I made my first Olympic team when I was 17, and I was actually still in high school. So that kind of opened a lot of doors as far as, okay, what college do you want to go to?
And where did you get to go for your first Olympics?
My first Olympics was in Sydney, Australia.
That sucked.
Oh, yeah. It was such a terrible experience. I absolutely love it there. It's my favorite place.
Me too.
Oh, gosh.
I travel all around the world,
and
even with my
it.
wife. And like you go places, you're like, why did I go to Marrakesh, Morocco? Like I live in San Diego. Like I live in Orange County now, but like literally, Newport Beach is much better than Marrakesh. Like I can watch that stuff on video.
No kidding.
Right? I don't have dirt all over me and people chanting at me or whatever they were doing. But when I went to Sydney and got off the plane, I went to Melbourne and Sydney.
Yes.
I was like, whoa, this is like San Diego times 10.
No kidding.
And because it was beautiful like San Diego.
Sure.
But the people.
I was just going to say,
Yeah.
people. It's all
Oh
about
my
the
God,
culture.
they're so cool.
And what's so crazy is they love swimming. Swimming's their number one sport there. So getting off the plane in Sydney, Australia was way different than being in America because of just the crowd it draws. And I was not used
you were
to
Michael
that.
Jordan.
Exactly.
Except for better looking. Right? That's awesome.
So that was a whole eye-opening experience because I wasn't used to that. You go to a swim meet here in the States and it's like, your mom and dad are there, maybe grandma and grandpa.
Right.
We go to Australia and everybody's there. And it was my first experience with really like the paparazzi and really playing up that U.S. versus Australia rivalry. And at that time, it was at its strongest too. That's when like the torpedo was, hot and out.
Right.
And that was Michael Phelps's first Olympics. So he wasn't quite
So
a rising
took
star.
like 6 medals.
Yeah, totally. So that was an amazing experience. I learned a lot from that meet. I ended up placing 3rd, 4th, and 6th. But more than anything,
So you got a bronze medal?
Had a bronze. Yeah, it was my last swim.
At 17.
Yeah, definitely. It was incredible. I learned a lot because my first race I swam was the 400 IM, which is pretty long and brutal. And it was the first day of the meet, and I was our top-ranked American. So I had a lot of pressure on me as far as got to win a medal. It needs to be gold. And I was never really had that mindset. I was all about, I want to do my personal best, whatever that means. It's going to be awesome for me. And all of a sudden, I'm getting gold medal in my head. And I'm just in a whole nother mindset. And, I get behind the blocks, and it's the first time my whole swimming career I'd ever been nervous. There was like 18,000 people in the stands. I'm just not used to this.
Yeah.
My legs feel like jello. I'm 17. I'm the only like American that had qualified for that race. And I thought I was 3rd. Like, you can kind of see where you are in the race. I'm like, that's cool. It's still a bronze. People got to be happy with that. I swam a terrible race plan because I was freaking out, basically.
Yeah, adrenaline out.
I was like trying to keep up with this one girl who ended up just like working me. And I got to the wall and I was like, Sandeno, Kaitlin, USA, 4th. And I was crushed. Like, I was absolutely crushed. And it was like the first time in my swimming career I started bawling. Like, my parents were like, never cry after a bad race.
Right. I had a boxer like
that.
One. He cried and swore.
Yeah.
Chris Arioli got his butt kicked by Klitschko.
And then
I'm
he's
like,
crying afterwards.
don't cry. Not in the ring, and don't swear.
Totally.
And he did both.
Oh, no. Yeah, that's how I was raised. You don't do either of those. And I was just so upset. I was so bummed. And it was a realization when somebody came up to me and was like, what's wrong? I'm like, I just got fourth. They're like, what's wrong? I'm like, I just got fourth place. And they like asked me again. I'm like, oh my gosh, are you listening to me? And this teammate is like,
in the world, fourth place in the world.
And she's like, you're 17 years old and only 3 people in this world can beat you in the 400 IM. And I was like, yeah, I feel real dumb right now. You know, it was just, so right then and there, 17 years old. I mean, it happened to be my first Olympics. My whole attitude about the sport changed. And it's, it was when I really, really legitimately was like, every time I swim, I want to go to best time. Like, that will always be my personal goal.
Right.
It's not going to be the gold. It's not going to be the world record. It's not going to be the American record. You can't control the uncontrollables. And that's what I try to preach when I do my motivational speaking. It's like, worry about yourself. And, the girl that beat me, she beat me by 7.5 seconds. She broke the world record. She was the defending world champion. And then 4 years later, had a lot of ups and downs in my career. I got a full ride scholarship to USC. Had a lot of injuries right when I got there, and it's kind of a bittersweet story with a lot of ups and downs. My freshman year was shaky. Sophomore year wasn't great. Junior year was my first good year, my first NCAA title and whatnot. Ended up qualifying for my second Olympics, kind of shot in the dark, kind of like the outside smoke and like the dark horse, which was completely different in 2000. I was like, oh, you're still swimming? I'm like, yeah, I've been hurt for most of it, but I'm swimming. So I go back to Athens, Greece now in 2004, and I'm getting ready for the 400 IM, same race, and who's next to me? The girl that beat me by 7.5 seconds,
World
4 years.
record.
Yeah, totally. And it was like, I've been here before. I know what to do, and I swam my own race, and you know what? She ended up beating me by 12/100ths of a second.
Wow.
It was a way better race this time. I got the silver, but for 4.5 years, I was stuck at this plateau. I was going 4 minutes and 40 seconds every single time I swam this race. So my goal at this Olympics was I'm going to break 4:40. So I looked up. Honestly, 12/100ths of a second. I mean, that's what, a fingernail.
Yeah.
I'm 5'7".
You should have cut your fingernails.
I know. I always blame it on my height. I'm like, I'm 5'7" and she's 6'2".
You and me, I'm 5'7".
Yes, and she's like a big girl, And
Yeah.
so and I look up and it's like Sandeno, Kaitlin, USA, and second. I'm like, okay, cool, second. Yeah. And then it said 4:34, and I was like,
wow.
Oh my goodness.
6 seconds.
Yeah, and I was like, I just wanted to go like a 4:39, you know? So I started jumping up and down and celebrating and like laughing, and people are like, oh my gosh, does she think she won? Like, she got second, you know? Because we're in this like society where it's like, why are you happy you got second? And I'm like, I am thrilled I just got second because look at my time.
What a change in 4 years.
Oh, for sure. So
much. Let's take all of that experience, because it, in business, the playbook's about taking great athletes and celebrities, and how does that all apply to when you're done?
Right.
And what's interesting is, I deal with a lot of professional athletes that keep playing into their adult lives. Mm-hmm. But, as an Olympian, it's different. And so, here you are, and you don't have the context where if you walk down the street, even Jim Leyritz, who's my partner on the radio show, when he's in New York, people stop him.
That's awesome.
Warren, people stop him all over the place. Warren Moon, my partner. Yeah. But when you're Kaitlin, they may stop you because you're really pretty, but they have no idea you have all these medals.
Yeah, no, I don't get that very often.
Yeah, and so, but there's a lot of lessons. I'm listening to you, and my gift is this ability to make money and to be a businessman, and from being the individual on a team, because that's what a CEO is,
for sure.
Right? I still have this team, and I have to motivate them like you would and be supportive. But in the end, I'm accountable for everything in the business.
Right.
And you're accountable for your job.
Definitely.
And I can only do my best to help the other people, but I can't run the race for them.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And, you had, like an entrepreneur, plenty of ups and downs, plenty of times when a lot of other people quit. Mm-hmm. Right? And so take me through some of, now that you're out, where you're applying these principles that you learned just through sports into business, because you do motivational speaking.
Right.
You still coach, and you also are an entrepreneur. You were a model. You've made money for a variety of different ways.
Right.
What are the key aspects of that you've taken from athletics into entrepreneurship?
Sure. I think first and foremost, it took me a while to be able to admit it, but it's hard. It's a hard transition. It's hard to go from an Olympic gold medalist to what next? I retired from the sport at 25 years old. My last Olympics was at 21
I graduated
years
law
old.
school at 25. I didn't even start my career.
Yeah.
Right?
But then it's like, what do I do now? Like, what is it in life that will get me to feel that natural high? You know, where am I supposed to be? Where is my passion now? And that took a while. It took a lot of trying different things, putting yourself out there, and honestly, kind of being okay starting from the bottom again. And I think, you know, that's how it started with swimming. I mean, I was good when I was younger, but I definitely wasn't like breaking records and, you know, making teams at a young age. I kind of...
Except for the Olympic team at 17.
17 was young.
I didn't make any teams as young.
But it was kind of like this rad jump. It was like 14, I was average, and then all of a sudden I was like good. You know,
nice.
A lot of kids
You're great.
That
Let's
way.
be honest. She's radically humble, but she was great.
So, I mean, it was hard. And now we live in this generation where it's social media and branding and putting yourself out there. And that was hard for me to do because I felt like that was very, look at me. And I didn't have Facebook for the longest time. And this was years ago. This is probably 2008. And I was doing a kind of like a what's Kaitlin Sandeno doing now interview. And we had this great interview. And at the end of the interview, the writer was like, can I give you some constructive criticism? I was like, yeah, sure. What's up? He's like, you really, really need to be on Facebook. I was like, oh, I don't want to be on Facebook. That sounds so terrible. It's so intrusive. It's like, oh, look at me. This is what I'm doing now. Like,
right.
He's like, no, I mean, this is what the world's going to. And now we have the Instagrams and the Twitter and you name it.
Snapchat.
And yeah, exactly. And it's funny because I didn't swim in the time that existed. And I really think my life would be a lot different if I did. You know, I just
You'd be Michael Phelps.
You know, I don't want to compare, but I feel like, wow, the opportunities that would have probably come, the followers that you have, the visibility that you have. And like you were saying, I don't walk down the street and get stopped like, oh my gosh, weren't you in the 2004 Olympics? Every once in a while, you know, if I'm hometown and whatnot, or if I'm at a swim event. Sure, exactly. And now that this is like the social media world, I'm like, gosh, I think my life would be a lot different. But the qualities of who I am because of the sport are obviously the same. The hard worker, driven, determined. I think you have to be humble, but at the same time you have to be proud. And something that I'm trying to be better about now is just networking. You know, for the longest time I was afraid to ask people for help because I was in a sport that was like, I'm going to do it myself. I got to do it myself. I'm a swimmer. Put my head down. I go. I had a tough exterior shell. The last 3 years of my swimming career, I swam with all boys. I moved to men, I should say. I moved to University of Michigan. I swam with Phelps and under Coach Bowman and was there with a bunch of national team members, other male Olympians, and that makes you a very tough person.
Yeah.
And
living in Michigan will make you tough.
Yeah, that in itself. Yeah, those brutal winters and swimming with all men. And,
right.
You know, I didn't really know anybody out there, and I was out of my comfort zone. And looking back now, I'm so glad I did it because I literally think I'm a stronger person because of it. But at the time, I was like, what was I thinking? And then to today, I mean, I feel like because of my Olympian status, I have a platform. And how are you going to use that platform? And how are you going to use that to your advantage as well? And, you know, I don't want a job. I want to enjoy what I'm doing. I want to have a passion. I want to find a career where I feel like I am really good at this and I love this.
Right.
And
you want to enjoy the pursuit of your potential.
Exactly.
That to me is happiness. And so
exactly.
many stellar individuals with great principles and character like you, it takes a transformation to not attach to an outcome.
Yes.
And then you have this whole new journey. Tell me about one thing. So, you know, all the people that I interview and meet, they all have, like, including me, this one low. Like, was there ever a time, either athletically or in business, that you're like, gosh, you know, I had a moment in my life, I lost like millions of dollars. I screwed up. I'm accountable. But I woke up one morning, and my wife always says, the amazing thing about Dave, through all that he went through, is that there was only one day that I ever saw him depressed. And I still get choked up thinking about it. It's one day, and I sat there, and I literally couldn't get out of bed, right? And I decided, oh, man, if I could look up, I can get up.
Yeah.
Did you have any of those days where you're like, gosh, you know, this is not what I wanted?
Yeah.
And I know from your character, you're like me. I'm sure you picked yourself, but tell me if you had that low point. Because everyone does, and they feel when they're there that there's no hope.
Right.
And part of this is to tell people, especially entrepreneurs, look, there's tomorrow.
Oh, for sure.
Like
most
every
definitely.
billionaire I know failed big. And they were this far from being bankrupt, if not have been bankrupt.
Right.
Every single one that I've ever met have failed so big and wanted to quit.
Right.
But there's something in an Olympian.
Sure.
There's no quitting, Kaitlin.
Right. No kidding. I mean, obviously being an athlete, your body goes through a lot. And going into my freshman year at USC, right away I had a shoulder injury, which is very common in the swimming world and sports in general. And it's one of those things that you just have to take the time and the patience. And then after that, I had this debilitating back injury. And it was a very low point of my career because for about 6 months, they couldn't even diagnose me. Oh. So it's like, do I have this, pseudo injury, and people start questioning you.
Disease.
Yeah, they're like, does she even want to swim anymore? Did she win Olympics at 17? Now she's done. Nobody knows what's wrong with her. And it's like, I'm not making this stuff up. Like, I hardly ever complain. I hate to say if anything hurts,
Right.
But this pain took my breath away. It hurt to walk. It hurt to talk. It hurt to cry, let alone swim. So I tried to continue swimming. I still went to the NC2As. I swam with tape on my back. And then the day after NC2As, I get a phone call that I was diagnosed with a stress fracture. And it was like this 2-part thing because I have asthma as well. So every time I was coughing, it was pulling apart my intercostal muscles. And it was like one thing after another. And I was like, oh my gosh, all right, what do you do? Do I want to do this? Because obviously, like I said, it's hard. And to be a student athlete and you're at USC and I'm swimming 2 hours in the morning, going to school, swimming 2 hours in the afternoon, doing weight room for an hour, had to do study hall, had a study table, classes again. It's like, do I love this?
Right.
Because this is really hard. Where's my
that
social
sounds like
life?
It sucks.
Yeah,
especially at USC. Like if you're at Michigan and there's nothing else going on, but you're at USC.
It's like, what about my social life?
Right.
And they hold you.
Or just a life.
Right, yeah. And, they want excellence in the pool and they want excellence in the classroom too,
yeah.
And it was very demanding on. So, freshman year I was like, gosh, this sucks. And so I had to take some time off just swimming completely, which I've never done. And then my sophomore year, I was feeling a little bit better, but not great. And we were taking a roommate to the airport. And we got in a car accident coming home on the 110 freeway. And this is 2 days before we're leaving to the NC2As. I'm like, you gotta be joking me, and I have the airbag rash on the side of my face. My body feels terrible. We go to urgent care, and the guy's like, you guys are just badly bruised. You're going to be feeling, probably pretty bad. But I'm like, I have NC2As in 2 days. And he's like, I don't know if I'd advise you to go, but I wouldn't tell you not to go. And I'm like, I got to go. And so I went, and the other girl that was in the car with me, she ended up not going. I'm like, I can do this, So then I get to the NC2As, and I'm there, and I get 102 fever. So it was literally, it was one thing after another, one thing after another,
I don't know what you did in your past life.
Yeah, I know. And it was just you stop, and
it started raining on me, and
yeah.
I didn't have an umbrella.
Yeah, seriously. And then I swam the mile, which is the longest race, and my cap came off. And
I can't even run a mile, Kaitlin.
I can't either. So it was literally my first 2 years at USC it felt like one thing after another. It was speed bump, obstacle, obstacle. And I was at that NC2As, I was just do I want to do this? Somebody's telling me to stop swimming.
Yeah,
and then
I would think so.
Yeah, right?
Right.
There is some force out there. It's maybe you shouldn't be doing this. But I was junior year, that's going to be my year, and it was the goal, the desire. I really wanted to go back to another Olympics. 2000 was so awesome.
Amazing
I want to do this
mind
again.
Works, right?
Definitely, mind over body, and just the body achieves what the mind believes, and just trying to push out all the negatives, hearsay, and only the positive vibes and the thoughts, and surrounding myself around people with that same attitude.
So important. I would say surround yourself with the right people and the right ideas. Let me just transition a little bit because you talked about being humble. And, I have 2 words next to my nightstand. Most people think it's thank you, but it's actually radical humility.
Okay.
And because I believe humility is what truly allows things to come to us. And we joke around, but I have the same difficulty in social media because in order to build a brand, and I'm a brand builder, that's my job. I have 2 or 3 people following around everywhere I go.
Right.
And I have to balance that with being humble.
Sure.
Right. And I, you see yourself on TV and radio and all these social networking things. People start coming up to you and say, I saw your video on this.
Right.
And then it's difficult to be humble. I see you as a very humble person.
Thank
Maybe
you.
I probably put you too high on a pedestal, even, but you're so humble.
Thank you.
To you, this humility which you have, you coach kids,
right?
And you give back. I read stories about you with helping kids with cancer, and you're a local person here, and I hear about you, which is always to me the biggest litmus test. Is I mention your name and everyone lights up.
Oh,
and I
thank you.
Was born into Leigh Steinberg's philosophy of being kind to your future self, and I know you're that type of person.
Thank you.
But with that humility comes some pretty funny stories. I know that you had mentioned you coach little kids.
Yes.
Could you share with us like a humbling story about, coming from gold medalist, multi-medalist, 2-3 Olympics, all the things you've done, to like some of the issues that you may, address today that may not be world famous Kaitlin, but instead just the local, high school or girls or boys swim coach. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's funny because I feel like people assume, oh, you're Olympic gold medalist, like
you're God.
I think they think it's like a paycheck that never stops,
right?
Too.
Which is terrible for all athletes.
Right. And I was like, I have to work, and I enjoy to work. I want to work, and
I'm not selling my medals. So,
right, exactly.
I got as much cash as you do.
Right. So I think people would be surprised to know that I am a summer league swim coach, and I chose, as far as levels of coaching, I am literally at the beginning of the sport. And that's how I started. I started at the Lake Forest Sharks. Now I coach at the Lake Forest Dolphins. Total, right back to my roots. I never, if you asked me this 5 years ago, I would say, oh, absolutely not. But I was approached literally like right before I was getting married. I was like, that sounds kind of cool to like be feet on the ground, not traveling, just be helping a group of kids. And this is now my third season as head coach Kaitlin, which is such a weird title for me. Like I respond now to Coach Kaitlin. And I have 200 kids from ages 220 kids from ages 3.5 to 17. And honestly, it is never dull. Everybody gets a medal at the end of the season.
Oh, no. How do you feel about that, by the way?
Oh, gosh.
How do you feel about that?
Oh, I want to be so politically correct on
No.
this.
And I want the truth, because I'll tell you, I hate it.
I hate
it.
Let me. I hate it.
Okay,
I'm with
good.
you.
Look, honestly, you can be encouraging and positive.
Yes.
But you have to teach people how to lose.
Right.
Because there's so many more losers than there are winners. You were at the Olympics and got fourth.
Right.
And
you get nothing.
You had to learn. You had to learn the balance at 17.
Right.
That, okay, number one, I feel like a loser.
Right, I
and
did.
You bawled and cried and all this. But then this appreciation came in.
Right.
And said, I'm fourth best in the world.
Mm-hmm, definitely.
And I can do better.
Right.
There's all these, but if you're rewarding people for being mediocre, how are you going to find greatness?
Well, I think we're like, oh, why are we in this time of self-entitlement? It's like, where do you want to begin?
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm glad you brought that up. And in the parents are even worse. Give me a parent story.
Oh, gosh. Well, I will say for my team, I have great parents. But
okay, that's politically correct.
No,
there's no such thing as 225 great parents.
I really do. But
Come on.
I'm in a league that have some parents that, I was sitting at a league meeting and I was baffled by the things that were being argued about for a summer league swim team, as if we were preparing for the next Olympics.
Yeah, and since you had, it's even worse for you.
Yeah, and I'm just sitting there like,
come on.
Are you guys joking me right now? And I feel like I'm pretty, I show it on my face. And I'm just like,
I had that in flag football.
Really?
Someone called timeout so they could get one more play in for a 4-year-old. I go, I have a 4-year-old on my team. It's dinner time. Why'd you call timeout? We're not keeping score. In fact, I lie to my team when I coach them.
Right.
They go, who won? Because they can't keep score.
Right.
I'm like, you did.
Well, and I think we can, honestly say that, children don't ruin youth sports. Parents ruin youth sports. And I really, really believe that. I mean, don't get me wrong. I have some kids. I don't want to be like, oh, my gosh, what is wrong with you?
Yeah.
But they're not ruining the sport.
I have 4 of my own that I do that too. In fact,
Totally.
God has given us cell phones for one reason. There should be no child abuse because the cool thing about having kids nowadays is literally, I have teenage daughters.
Right, yes.
I'm like, give me that phone.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Oh, Daddy, cut my arm off. Please, punch me in the face. Kick me. Do whatever. Don't take my phone, please, Daddy. It's awesome. I never have to hit a child. But anyway, we have a couple minutes. I have a couple quick questions that I'm known for. One, I know you're not a big computer person, but do you have a favorite app on your phone? Something that you use at all? Nope. That's okay if you don't.
Instagram.
There you go.
Because I'm building my brand.
There you go. Most people say Instagram, just so you know.
Yeah.
Check out Rev. That's my favorite. It
Rev?
transcodes what you say into perfect English. They send it off to Costa in minutes. It's $1 a minute.
Oh, wow.
So if you want to write a book or
Yes.
take notes and that, you can do it while you drive in California.
Oh, that's
with an
amazing.
earpiece, of course. And then
Of course.
my last minute, my favorite question
Okay.
is, what do you want Kaitlin Sandejo's legacy to be?
Oh, goodness. I was raised with the constant reminder from my parents, be a nice girl. It was like, oh, good look at your game, be a nice girl. Have a fast race, be a nice girl. And people go up to my parents often, and, oh, your daughter's such a great swimmer. Oh, she's such a stud. Da, da, da. My parents like, thanks. And the moment somebody tells my parents, you have such a nice daughter, my mom starts bawling.
Me too.
Yeah, I met your mom. I saw a lot of similarities there.
Yeah.
And I do. I just want to be known as a nice person. I just feel like everybody's complaining about this world that we live in today. And it's like, well, we all have the opportunity. If we truly want to be living in a better world, everybody has that opportunity to do that, to make that difference. From I'll probably go to Whole Foods after this. I could make a difference just going to Whole Foods.
Yeah.
That my engagement with somebody that day, just being here, my interaction, my relationships with people, the words that I say. And, I want... The thing that I love most about coaching is I truly feel like I have an opportunity to make a difference. And, some are like swimming, some may laugh, some are like, really, that's what she's doing right now? It's like, no, I have 220 kids that I can leave a lasting impression with. I can love on them with my words, with my words of encouragement, my motivation. Am I going to have any Olympians on my team? Probably not.
Right.
If I wanted to be coaching at that level, I could. But I truly believe that I want to be at where it starts. I mean, we have an opportunity to grow and groom the next generation, and I just want to...
Of kind people.
Exactly.
Nice
I want to use
people.
my platform in that way.
That's awesome legacy. Well, you heard it here. I'm with Kaitlin Sandeno, multi-medalist, gold medalist, USC superstar, but most of all, a very, very nice person.
Thank you.
Dave Meltzer choking up at the playbook because I love her so much. I'm here, Entrepreneur's Playbook. You're welcome back anytime. Be kind to your future self, and most importantly, be nice.
We're going to reinvent symphonic music for a new generation of people. Because how many young kids go to the symphony?
Right,
Zero.
Zero.